We're the section leaders.
I'm Longevity.
I'm Grits.
And I'm Major 7. And we're going to talk about our record Glide with the hand motion.
I don't know if you have plans or not.
So Glide is my favorite record that we've done so far. It's just my opinion. I really like that joint. We actually came together well on this one also. Just from a creative standpoint, I believe we set this one. Well, this one started. Lone and I were sitting together, and as I remembered, he had a shell. A shell mean like maybe just some drums, nothing full, nothing complete. I was playing some chords. Grits had actually brought his live bass, so he plugged in at some point. But he and I were just Lone and I were just bouncing ideas, kind of going back and forth, and we finally got to a progression that we liked and found a sound that we liked. And we just kind of, would you say, just kind of built from there?
Yeah, we had the main, the intro piece that you hear that comes on was the main. It was like a little arpeggio of sorts. Then I just moved the drums around that while Grits was putting the bass piece together. I mean, I'll let you speak on that as far as your process if you'd like.
So basically when the process was being done on Major 7's end, I was just kind of going around just listening to what he was doing, and I didn't want to put something too complicated over it, and so I was just kind of filling it out, and it just kind of came together that way. And then toward the end of the verse, I put a little Latin spin on it and kind of created like this Latino vibe toward the end of it. But yeah, that's basically what I did. And then the actual beat came together when Longevity put the actual percussion over it, and then the writing process started after that. And basically I just kind of wanted to write something about I guess like love, but not really loving, but kind of like going on a date maybe, like I don't know if you have plans or not, but I'm ready to roll, so that's basically the concept that I had, and I just took that and ran with it.
I think that another thing that's dope about this record is Lone, once we got started with the chorus, the hook part, we were actually surprised when he mentioned that he was going to write to it, but to me it was fun to come back after we met again and to hear where the beat had taken him. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like his version of what you started.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can interpret music how you like. So he took what you did and built on it and took it the way he wanted to take
right.
it. You know what I'm saying? And it ended up working well. So it's always fun to come in and hear that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So and then at that point, once Lone got in there and put the sauce on it in terms of his portion, it was just all about tweaking it. Like I think we had to re-record this, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Vocally, we had to re-record it, but then because basically we basically just did a shell of it to get the concept down, and then we wanted to revisit the song, and so that gave me enough time to work on the vocal portion of it, and be able to get it done in like 1 or 2 takes. And then he had already had his verse written, so
you can actually talk about what your verse was, like your angle on your verse.
So I took the idea, I took Clarence's idea. I think when we were writing and making the beat, I think I was kind of like scatting some like glide on through something kind of jokingly. Mm-hmm. And then so that's kind of how my verse started, and I was like singing it, and I was like, this would be cool if for a live interpretation if we could harmonize that.
Yep.
So that's why I sang those parts, so that Clarence and Grits can come over top and we both could harmonize in different areas. The writing aspect of it was Yeah, I took it from an angle of, I took the you can glide on through and what Clarence was talking about with the dating aspect, but I took it to a place of accountability in a way. A lot of my verses are a lot deeper than they may seem sometimes.
That's a fact.
This one was very much so speaking on being non-intentional with somebody. It was speaking on realizing that although you may feel like you have been doing certain things or making certain actions towards somebody, maybe you actually haven't been doing it in a way that somebody can receive them. And so the whole verse was that embodied in the whole mantra of it was like, well, we can just glide on through, or maybe I can actually take an action and actually get out of my own way type stuff.
Yeah.
So I try to bring that aspect of it to what you were talking about, to give that type of angle, like, you know, to take it a little bit deeper. And that's something that we agreed upon that we were going to do early on. You know, we weren't going to write basic joints. We were going to make sure that we had a lot of nuance in there. So I wanted to make sure that I had nuance in my verse when we wrote that, or when I wrote that. And this was one of the first songs that we wrote.
Yeah.
So we did this back in, I think, January, and we started working together in January. So, you know, this was one of the early joints. So I really like the way this one came together. I really like my verse on this one. I like the way, just the elements, you know, like the harmonies on it. I like your ad libs underneath it that we added after the fact, and the major 7th ad libs.
Yeah.
But in general, it's a fly joint.
I think this will be a good record to perform as well. It's gonna be. I think it'll be real fun to perform, and the harmonies are what I call doable harmonies. Like we can, you know what I'm saying, we can do these when we perform. Right. And I think that's to testament to Grits as well, and I mean Lone also, how we sat down listening to what would be doable harmonies. That's something that wasn't, you know,
over the top
octave range or something crazy, right? But it'll still come off good on a live performance. So, right. Yeah, I think that's pretty much wraps up Glide. Would you guys say it's pretty much it?
Yeah.